Well, welcome back everybody to Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 2. We're about to witness some... Well, I hope we're not about to witness some cursed content. This is basically, well, yeah, I guess it is cursed content. We're at the all-you-can-eat dessert event that is going on, and there's a lot of weirdos here. And one basically tripped this fine waitress here, of which we're all standing collectively. We all decided this on like 2 episodes ago or whatever. And now she has to wipe this man's crotch, or near the area, which is awful. Ugh. Oh yes. We're coming right in. I grasped Shion's shoulder firmly and pulled her behind me. Yonder wait... What? Damn, we're gonna fight this this big oh god, yep, we're gonna die. My body was lifted into the air like nothing. I was thrown right back into my own seat. This guy is strong. No matter how you look at it, Athletic and this Lardo aren't even in the same area code.
Otaku wa igai ni minor na budou o etoku shiteiru koto ga oii de gozaru kara amaku miru to taihen de gozaru yo.
The man smirked, showing off his gum line.
Kei-chan, daijoubu?
Damn it, how lame must I look right now?
Shion wa ashi o hikkakeraretan daro. Mukou ga warui nda kara tsukiyagaraseru koto nanka nai zo.
そうだけど、でもやっぱり悪いのは私だし。
もう一度だ。行くぞ。
Oh man, we're really gonna die this time.
これくらいでへこたれるケイチ様だと思うなよ。もう一度だ。
I wonder how the anime adaptations took care of this part.
口ほどにもないでござるの。
まだまだ。
Rise, my will to fight. Yeah. Not just running, I planted every one of my steps firmly as I closed the distance to the lard ball. Each time I ripped my foot off the floor, I could feel my burning spirit flare up from the point of impact. Everything slowed down like I was walking underwater. Man, Keiichi has some weird-ass abilities. As I stepped forward, in that vicious flow of time, or viscous, or one of those words, I calmly measured the gap between us. With our difference in height, reach was my ultimate advantage. There was an ever so tiny distance between us where only my punch would be able to reach. I unleashed my iron fist of righteous anger, but it flew towards his face slowly, like I was punching underwater. Reacting to that, with a smirk on his face, the fatso easily slipped inside of my punch. I hadn't realized it until now, but in this mired time, I was able to observe his baffling counterattack with almost painful clarity. His arm slowly swung around in a large windmill motion, wrapped around my whiffed punch, and descended in an arc. That arm swung around like the arms of a clock, and came into contact with my head, twisting my upper body around. Dragging my head along, he followed through with another rotation. This time he rotated his entire body like a top, followed by another rotation. Combining defense and offense, it was a brilliant counter. And that's right, 3 times I was thrown after 3 rotations, I think. In this viscous region of time, I was unable to struggle, and I can only wait dumbstruck until the moment I was thrown. The moment I was, that sluggish temporal anomaly, abruptly ended. Yeah, I never have those moments.
修行が足りないでござるよ。Young man.
I was loath to admit it. But against somebody trained in martial arts, I couldn't win through force of will alone. So what are we gonna do, give up? Because I'm not about that. After my consciousness faded in a wave of dizziness, I guess we're giving up whether we want to or not, When I came to, I was lying down in my own seat.
怪我しなくてよかったですね。
I think we were injured. The more experienced waitress from before wiped the sweat from my brow with a towel. While she was doing that, a red-faced and teary-eyed Shion trudged over.
大丈夫ですか？私なんかのために。すみませんでした。
俺こそ役に立たなくてすまん。俺喧嘩って勝ったことないし。
私のために助けに来てくれただけで嬉しかったです。本当
I
で
guess
す。
that means we did something, right?
それだけでも今日はケイちゃんに来てもらえてよかったかなって。
As she said that, she stuck her tongue out teasingly. She wiped off the whipped cream from the washcloth she was holding in her hands.
園崎さん、R 入ってもいいですよ。あと 1,2 時間でしょ。いいんです。バイトとはいえお給料もらってる身ですから、時間内はちゃんと働きたいんです。だから本当お気遣いなく。
She couldn't even put up a brave front. I would never even think for a second that Mion could be that weak. This was Shion, and she had been harassed by some unreasonable riffraff. That was reality.
ケイちゃんは気にしないでデザートいっぱい食べててくださいね。一通り食べ終わったらアンケートを書いてもらいますので。じゃあ私ホールに戻りますね。
Yeah, try not to trip and fall onto some weirdo's crotch, or anything of the sort. Let's not get things even weirder. After consoling words and a sympathetic smile to Shion, the other waitress started to head back to work. And that's where I stopped her.
すいませんウェイトレスさん、電話借りたいんですけど。
電話ですか？レジ横にございますよ。ご案内いたします。
I pulled a 10 yen coin from my wallet, and this wasn't about saving face. My being a worthless coward was an unchangeable fact, but I could just cry myself to sleep about that later tonight. Now was not the time for tears. I had to fight.
確かチケット1枚で4人まで OK なんですよね。あと3人呼んでもいいんですよね。
ええ、そうですけど一応名簿に書きますのでお名前を伺ってもよろしいですか？
I turned around and glared at the greasy hooligan who subjected Shion to that humiliation. What are we gonna do? There are 3 things that aren't working in your favor today, punk. The first is that I owe Shion. The second is that I'm a man who's not afraid to throw away his pride to win. And the third is that we're the most powerful club members in history. Ah.
名簿には竜宮レナ、それから北条聡子、古出理香で。
Of course, everybody besides Mion, because she's quote-unquote probably at work, which I guess is also true.
かしこまりました。受けたまわります。
I'll have the best and most powerful club members join the fray. They can bring down 1,000 foes. You fat asses. Prepare to meet your maker. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna go over swimmingly.
いいお店だね。制服かわいい。レナも着たい。しかもデザートまでおごってもらえるなんて僕は大感激なのです。
ああ、好きなだけ食ってくれ。俺の分なんか気にするな。
ケイチさん、茶番は結構でございますのよ。要件に入ってほしいですわ。
Rena and Rika-chan put down their forks when Sadako broached the subject. After looking at them for a few moments, I pressed my forehead firmly into the table.
頼む。俺の不甲斐なさを笑ってもいい。力を貸してくれ。
The 3 of them seemed surprised by the sudden turn of events, but nevertheless listened to what I had to say without making fun of my unusual behavior.
どうしたのかな？何があったんだろう？
実はミオンの妹のシオンがこの店でバイト中なんだ。
ああ、話に聞いてたみーちゃんの妹さんだね。ひょっとしてあれかな？似てるね。似てるも何も髪を下ろしただけの本人ではありませんの？
I didn't know what to say.
圭一がシオンだと言うからシオンなのですよ。いくら双子だってあんなにうり二つになるもんなんですの？
I mean, I've seen literal twins that are identical before. It's fucking nutty.
一卵性双生児って言ってね、本当にそっくりの双子ってこともあるんだって。
Yeah, that's some real shit. You guys should watch the quintessential quintuplets. Now that's wacky. Rena gave the most plausible explanation, so everybody else was convinced.
納得してもらえたかな。それで本題だ。
I recounted everything that had just happened. How Shion was targeted, how she was antagonized by the customers, and the humiliation that was forced upon her. Also how incredibly pathetic I was. I included everything without trying to hide it.
それはひどいね。しーちゃんかわいそう。しかし、それを助けられないなんて、みっともないにも程がありますわよ。
それについては返す言葉がない。
さとこちゃん、負けを認めて助けを求めるのってとっても難しいことなの。圭一くんは変なプライドなんかよりしーちゃんを助けることを選んだんだよ。情けないですこと。
Rena's follow-up stung a bit, but I could only be thankful that she understood. Sadako was calling me all sorts of names, but there were no malign intentions behind her words.
で、僕たちは何をするですか？
Her voice was monotone, but there was a hint of resolve in her words. I replied to Rika-chan's suggestive silence in kind with my own quiet resolve.
そんなところだと思ってましたわ。圭一さん一人には少々荷が重すぎますもの。
じゃあ助けてくれるのか？
当然だよ、圭一くん。私たちは誰がいじめられても助けに行くよ。
I remember when I was being cornered by those thugs. What Shion had said about the strong feeling of solidarity in Hinamizawa really began to hit home. However, Keiichi Maibara, now is not the time to get choked up with tears of gratitude. Now is the time to fight.
すまん、恩に切る。
一人で頑張ったけど歯が立たなくてかわいそです。
Rika-chan gently pat my head for me. But there was no mindless pity in the palm of that hand. It was overflowing with the strong, dependable feeling of leave the rest to us.
もろもろの都合によりミオンは参戦できないので臨時に俺が指揮を取る。作戦内容はシオンの護衛と敵勢力の殲滅。
敵って誰かな？いっぱいいるのかな？
現時刻以降シオンにちょっかいを出そうとする全個人全勢力を敵と認める。交戦規定はなし。報酬は今食ったデザート。質問はあるか？
Everybody had already entered club mode, their eyes peering at the riffraff clamoring around inside the restaurant like predators stalking their prey from the darkness. Rika-chan held up her hand.
なんだい、リカちゃん。
手加減は必要ですか？不要に決まってますわ。ミオさんの妹に狼藉を働く輩に手加減なんか不要ですの。いいんですね、ケイチ。
Yeah, let's kill them. Rika-chan was serious. She was really ready to pretty much murder someone. Careful with your words, actually. I'm counting on you, Rika-chan.
全責任は俺、前原圭一が取る。蹴散らしてやれ。
よーし、レナも頑張るぞ。
すまん、よろしく頼む。
ケイチさん、そんなに力まなくても大丈夫ですのよ。まあご覧あそばせ。ケイチさんがそのパフェを食べ終わる頃にはお掃除は終わってましたよ。ではみんな頑張りましょうですよ。ファイトオーです。
Thus, the most powerful war band the world had ever known, trained by Mion, began to move. I was the oldest, the only boy, and behaved like a leader. But when you consider our club activities, I was by far the most junior member. Individually, everyone besides me had terrifying combat capabilities. If all of them combined their strengths to protect Shion, I couldn't even imagine. I was probably about to witness something terrible and awe-inspiring.
園崎さん、7番テーブルにデラックスパフェを5つお願いします。あ、はい。
Shion carried the order to the tables, excuse me. For Shion to carry all 5 parfaits without wobbling took so much effort that she didn't have the breathing room to pay attention to her feet.
どうしよう、また来たでござるよ。
今度はミーのおズボンにぶっかけさせて、一層念入りにふきふきしてもらうにより。
Why do they call it wipey wipey? That's the worst part of it all. It was the same wipey wipey scheme that had occurred just a short time earlier. This time another one of them was trying it out for himself. The very depravity of these men was itself a full-out attack.
圭一よりレナへ。5、6番テーブル付近で待ち伏せだ。レナ、聞こえてるか？
お店の制服かわいいね。はう、お持ち帰り。
Shion, her bottom swaying while carrying the parfaits, was being chased by an equally swaying Rena. She was supposed to be escorting Shion, but Rena was instead transfixed by the back of her uniform. From a normal person's point of view, it was probably like having a fox guard a hen house. But when it comes to Rena, things are different.
怪異状態。シンクロ率 120%。勝ったな。
あの状態のレナさんには地球上のどんな物理法則も通用しませんわ。
Damn, no wonder we died in the first game. Shion's legs, unsteady and defenseless, were being targeted by those sleaze bags.
今でござるよ、同志諸君。
世界の輝ける明星にして偉大なる総統閣下万歳。
What? Excuse me? A leg shaked out to trip Shion's defenseless feet. Egads, 3 of them at once. It happened in an instant. The 3 fools writhed in pain as their legs bent at unnatural angles.
これは何事でござるか。
Damn, I think the laws of physics really just did not apply here. Alrighty, Rena teetered into view and gave them a warning.
おいたはダメなんだよ。メだよ、メ。レナがお持ち帰りするから、メ。
この小娘、神妙な技を。
The human scum clutched at their bruised ankles as they passed out. They passed out?
さすがはレナさん。いつ見ても恐ろしいキレですわね。
ああ、絶対的なガードだ。半径2メートル以内で行われるシオンへのあらゆる攻撃をレナは完全なカウンターで粉砕する。
Yeah, I believe it. As Shion was making her rounds through the restaurant, there were people here and there collapsing with welts on their legs or hands.
はう、レナよりケイチ君へ。もうしーちゃんにちょっかい出す人はいないよ。だからもうお持ち帰り。
ケイチよりレナへ。ご苦労だった。引き続き護衛を続けてくれ。それからお持ち帰りは不可。繰り返す。お持ち帰りは不可。
じゃあ見てるだけだよ、見てるだけ。はう。
I guess looking is fine. That wouldn't prevent her from guarding Shion, so I guess it's okay. Anyway, thanks to this, I knew who had tried to mess with Shion. Anybody who was clutching at their arm or leg while they were writhing in agony was basically branded by their bruises.
現時刻をもって敵勢力識別を完了。次のフェーズへ移行する。ケイチよりサトコへ。そっちはどうなってる？
サトコですわよ。どうなってるとはひどい言い方でございますわね。ケイチさん、私を誰だと思っておいでですの？
Sadako was in the kitchen. She had spread open a sketch of the restaurant on the counter, replete with ordered chits and their destinations, and was now sorting through the freshly made desserts.
ちょっと、さっきから何をしてるの？まあまあ、 園崎さ、いいから彼女に任せておいて。
Why is everyone okay with somebody messing with the food?
それよりもこのオーダー全部一度に行くからお願いね。
The veteran waitress was briskly directing her juniors as the trays went out one after another. All the desserts that had passed through Sadako's hands were delivered at once.
分かってるだろうが手をつけるなよ。自分の身が大事なら。
分かってるけど。
Certainly, they were all incredibly cute-looking desserts. They were all works of art that you could enjoy before even taking your first bite. However, since Sadako had meddled with them, they were nothing more than an unpredictable danger. Blissfully ignorant of that fact, with the men now stuffing their faces. Almost right away, they realized that something was wrong.
サトコ、何を混ぜた？塩やタバスコってわけじゃないだろう。
あら、圭一さんが言ったんですのよ。手加減無用って。私、こう見えても叩くときは徹底的に叩く性分でございますの。
As she said that, she twirled a dubious file in her fingers before putting it away smartly into her pouch.
さとこより理解。お客様が行きますわよ。エスコートお願いしますわ。僕にお任せなのです。
Come to think of it, I didn't see Rika-chan anywhere. Where could she be lurking? Several men stood up suddenly from their seats, surveying the restaurant for something. That restless fidgeting, and that look of relief when they found the single placard hanging from the ceiling. Written on that placard was the room restroom. They began a mad rush in that direction. It wasn't just one or two people. All the people that were branded as the enemy were standing up from their seats while clutching at their stomachs.
さすがにがっつきすぎたでござるよ。お手洗いはどこでござるか？
僕もにゃりよ。オープンでなくクローズドの方でござる。ようリプレイ外しにゃり。
おトイレはどこにゃ？
You know, methinks that Sadako put laxatives in the desserts.
見つけたにゃ。緊急発進スクランブルよ。
I felt dirty just thinking about what Sadako probably did to their desserts. The problem was how to follow this up. I was intrigued, so I followed the rush of men to the washroom. The narrow hallway connecting to the restroom was crammed with about 10 men.
なんとしたことでござるか。
As I peered over to see what was happening, whoa. It seemed that the toilet was clogged and backflowing, unleashing a loud gurgling sound and a terrible stench. There was no way to use it at this state. Damn that Sadako, what a frightening display of power. No, this wasn't Sadako's doing. It was divine punishment. Yeah, they were just unlucky. I'll just apologetically ask one of the employees here to clean it up.
これでは尿が出せぬでござる。
どうしたものにゃりんか、毎同士。
It was a brilliant combination of traps, but it would be better if there were one more push to the kicker. Seeing as it was Sadako, who wouldn't have overlooked that?
こうなっては最後の手段に。
Faced with a moral dilemma, that man only had the other option, the women's restroom.
さすがに女子トイレはまずいでござるか。今日のお客さんに女子はいないにゃりん。コロンブスの卵でにゃりん。
はあはあ、背に腹は変えられぬ。
Jesus. What a brazen bunch they are. The men, sweat now pouring from their brows, made a mad rush to the girls' room without any hesitation. And? Oh. There was girl there. What? Really? It was Rika-chan. The men stood there, frozen in various complicated poses, indicating their surprise. Rika-chan also seemed dumbfounded by the sudden turn of events. But the look on her face was strangely perfect. This was all part of the plan as well. You sly dog, Rika-chan. I should never underestimate you.
これはでござるな。まだ待て。
みー、
男子便所がちょっとデンジャラスにゃので、ちょっとおトイレをお借りしたかっただけなのにゃにゃ
Ugh.
みー。
でもやっぱりいけないことでござるよな。どうして諸君？
Just by having a girl stand there in the restroom, I never knew it could put up such an overwhelming barrier. There was no way anybody could be brave enough to lift Rika-chan out of the way to try to do their business. Huh. This is the most they could do after all. If I were a man in full club mode, for example, someone like me, or if it were a man, excuse me, they would plow up through Rika-chan without a second thought. Now, what are you gonna do? You fat asses, wow. The price for tormenting Shion still hasn't been paid.
お困りなら僕が助けてあげてもいいのです。
片付けどうござる。してその方法は？
お外のトイレを使えばいいのです。ご案内しますですよ。
それは助かるにゃりん。さあこのままじゃ集団って不根腕状態にゃりん。
Please don't say that. Rika-chan, with a pleasant smile on her face, guided them with a casual stride in her step. In this race against time, her slow pace was sadistic torture.
マドマーゼル、そのトイレはここから遠いでござるか？
すぐに着きますです。
Obeying Rika-chan's directions, they were about to leave the restaurant.
ケイチ君、締めだよ。ビシッと言ってね。
おうよ、任せておけ。
I spread my arms out and blocked them as they tried to leave the restaurant.
何の真似でござるか。このデフコ1の非常時に。
悪人ども、この扉から一歩外へ出ることがどういうことになるか。
それはどういう意味にゃ？
ほら、チケットに書いてあるよ。途中退店無効って。どこのおトイレに行くのも自由でございますがね。その扉を一歩でも外へ出たなら二度と戻れませんのよ。
Damn.
覚えてろ。
そんな怖いこと言う人たちを案内したくないのです。
Everybody panicked as Rika-chan began to turn back. They could only figuratively and literally fall in line. All the waitresses also lined up to see them off.
本日はご来店誠にありがとうございました。
I shall return!
The bell rang playfully as the door shut behind them.
すまないですわね。爆笑の極みでしたよ。
Well, that was funny.
やったね。
Renette and Sadako clapped their hands together.
俺一人じゃ歯が立たねえ連中もメンバー総登場ならまさに一網打尽だな。
この程度の相手なら私たちなら一人でもお相手できましたよ。圭一さんも少しは腕をお磨き遊ばせ。
I was loath to admit it, but Sadako was right. Damn it. One day I'll be strong enough to be worthy to stand alongside them.
でもみーちゃんの妹さんを守れて本当に良かったね。もうこれでいたずらする悪い人たちは一人もいなくなったよ。素敵な友人に恵まれたわね、園崎さん。
The veteran waitress was also smiling. After the herd was sent packing, it had calmed down completely inside the restaurant. Shion was flustered as she glanced between us and the now empty seats.
私のためにその
Shion's expression was somewhere between happy and guilt-ridden. Her face had turned slightly red as she ran into the kitchen.
わあ、しーちゃんもかわいい。双子なんだね。はう。
Given Shion's personality, there's no way she'd thank us directly. We might have been a bit excessive in our means, but I'm really glad we were able to save her.
分かってると思いますけど、園崎さん、とても感謝してますよ。
I'm sure like every employee here is really grateful.
私もホールを代表して感謝いたします。
Yeah, there you go. Haha. The applause quickly spread throughout the entire restaurant. Not only the other waitresses, but also the customers that were genuinely there to enjoy the desserts. Everyone was lauding our efforts. Damn. There are some good people in this world. Alrighty, well, I think this is a good spot to wrap it up for the episode. We defeated the weirdos, and we're, I guess, good to go to enjoy some desserts with friends and all that. And that will be a fun time. So thank you all for watching this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.